Yo, what's up? So yeah, it is Michael here, and I did watch the movie fully, even though it was like a small break in between. And then I watched the last 21 minutes, for example. So I'm kind of in my outfit that I there we go, that I was wearing at 538 King's Day. So like it's like an event that was kind of like my Coachella in a way. I just really wanted to do 538 King's Day. It's like a radio channel, whatnot. But let's dive into this movie. Just like the props or whatever. I just got them for King's Day and decided to wear them today because, like, why not? Um, and yeah, it was actually a little bit extra there. Like, I watched the fountain, obviously, but like to some way, I actually bought this at like a thrift. How do you call it? Like a um, thrift shop event, whatever you call that again. Flea market. There we go. That's like probably the most correct word, I would say. At the end of it, basically, it's like I was actually at the flea market selling some random stuff myself in Amsterdam. Just kind of funny. We brought some big things, and then I just was gaming on the flea market itself, and around it as well. Like, cool people just selling random stuff, but actually cool people, women also come there, for example. Met like a mom and a daughter, for example. They both kind of cool, and they also linked up the daughter. So you're kind of surprised in some areas, like, or even go to secondhand stores, or like going to Whole Foods. In America, I gamed in the Whole Foods also, even though that wasn't my main target. My main target was to get groceries, and then from there you also get needs. What I was going to say is like, okay, so it's kind of cool, like with the movie of the fountain. Like I bought these few things at the end. I was like, oh yeah, YOLO, let's just do it anyway, yeah. But like also kind of linked to the movie as like, okay, that's it's kind of partially the purpose of that movie also, where like, okay, at the end, you just want to go and live, Like, the girl was constantly showing the guy. So if I believe Izzy was the girl, and then Dr. Cleo was the guy, huge Jackman. I don't know his name. He did like a different movie, The Prestige, that I watched a long time ago. That was a really good movie, also. Actually, I really liked the part of that where like it's around deception or not. Let's dive into this movie. Let's keep focused. So like, um, yeah, even in the beginning, it's like, what do we do if it's a trap? We break through. Like that was the beginning of the movie. If you guys don't want to see the full breakdown of this movie, then skip off or save this video for later and whatnot. Obviously, I'm gonna go through my own notes and just randomly read them off my paper here, as I got like one, two, three pages, as quickly as possible. Um, yeah, also one thing that comes back into how do you say, self-development, self-mastery is like, they said like, without euthanizing it will grow too hard. And this was like around a tumor with a monkey or whatnot. So they do like surgery on the monkey, as a test for further and further things. Like Dr. Keo, for example, he's then a doctor, and so they kind of experiment on animals. And that was kind of cool. Like, okay, also in self-development, there's so many coaches that nurture the problem and they don't actually do something. What I do myself also, this is, for example, like one topic with letting go. Like so many people talk about letting go, so many coaches also, but just letting go, like that's not the end all either. So like, yes, letting go, but also like don't do that only, because like then it's still gonna pile up because you let go of it, but it's still somewhere. So rationalize around it. Well, like, oh, what does it do if I just let it go, and what does it do if I don't do anything with it? Obviously, letting go is already better, but then you need like a third factor, where it's like you also process it partially before you put it away, before you let it go. So that's, in my opinion, the most best way, and that's what most great teachers actually learn compared to the more average ones. Not per se the average teacher, but like the average teachings in letting go, for example. What else? Uh, oh yeah, it's kind of funny in a way. I'm sometimes a bit against sales, like a small bit, even though I know it's super duper great. Um, it's more so when when it gets used in a bad way, I would say. So like, the good pattern of this one that I learned, for example, so the doctor is saving lives by recognizing patterns. Like he also linked something to help the monkey out. The monkey was dying, he had a tumor, this and that, and it's kind of fictional in this way, but like he remembered a piece of tree, and then he could insert a piece of tree into it. It had like this, and like that's kind of stupid on its own. But hey, at the end of the day, it's a movie. Yeah. So he recognized that pattern of like, oh, this tree, it really helped, or I know something about this that could help the monkey. If you don't do anything with the monkey, he's gonna die anyway, like 99% sure, so to speak. We might as well do something with the pattern I just put out of my mind. Like he just bounced that out of his mind. So recognizing patterns is like a really good thing. I teach that my own clients also, even though we're doing a movie review, I'm kind of cutting back into what I personally teach also. Being awake. There's so many stages of being awake, even stages that I'm still not awake in, or just getting to, basically. And you need to be aware of that also. Um, so that's in self-development, for example. But with this doctor, with Dr. Creo, as I have to look over what his name was again. Yeah, he's also with the sorry, with the saving lives and recognizing patterns. He's also like, oh, now he clicks in his mind, like, oh yeah, years ago or some time ago at least. I had this example of a tree, or like I know this does that, and then like that's also how you can help clients. And that's also if you teach it to your clients, that's also how they can help themselves. So I always say like you can watch in the past what helped yourself or what didn't serve you basically. So like what served you in the past and what didn't serve you in the past. And then for in the present moment, like what's gonna serve me now, what's not gonna serve me now. And for the future is the same. So you can also look in the future, like from the past, you could see like, oh, this didn't work. In the future, could look like, oh, this is kind of going that way. It's probably not going to work either. Don't be like thick-minded about like, oh, everything in the past, I can't improve it, and I can't do something greater in the future. But it's definitely in a way that like, if you look into the future, like there's a probability it's probably not so you can make yourself aware and be out, do the audit about it, and also be like, okay, I'm gonna go still full in, but maybe like 90%, and then 10% I keep it in the background. I keep running it like a computer, like a like an antivirus program, like a antivirus program, for example. So you let it run in the background, and then like if you get too far off track, then you go like, oh yeah, this is most likely to feel like it did in the past, and you save yourself a little bit there. Like how often in relationship is like, oh, it's going sour, it's going bad, and then you don't do anything with it until it explodes. Well, that's kind of one of those things. Or in business too, like business, you might keep going, going, going with skin in the game, but you don't always calibrate to what needs to happen. Like you need, to do your taxes, for example. Otherwise, the company explodes and they just cut down everything that happens. So you can't even go and put out, how do you, offertes, we call it in the Netherlands. You can't even put out any bills towards your clients because they blocked your bank accounts or whatnot. That's the simplest reason, yeah. Throughout entrepreneurship, you'll have like similar problems that are really high, low, or starting off, and you go through everything basically. What else? Um, yeah, they kept saying towards Cleo, oh, you're reckless, you're losing perspective, which, is self-development. That kind of happens too here and there, I would say. Um, and then, this can be with women also, where like sometimes they kind of hit that wall and they also getting reckless and they're losing perspective. They kind of did it before hitting the wall already. That's why they hit the wall. Um, but yeah, also the recklessness after, like now they're just like looking for like a solution, but like if you can prevent that by patterns, like I said before, so like losing perspective and getting reckless, like you can kind of avoid getting reckless. Losing perspective is actually kind of fine. That kind of puts you in a different mindset or a different situation, as long as you like audit it and like catch it at the right time. Like it can happen a little bit, but you need to be able to put yourself out there before it gets too reckless. And with Clio, it was definitely like that. Um, yeah, he just got away too far from his own wife's energy. Um, then there was like this moment where they were in the bathtub, and it's like, why didn't you say anything? And she said like, oh, because I didn't feel different on the inside. So like that's quite an important one too, where like women won't always say something. or even your closest friends. You kind of have this with guys also, like your closest friends are so close to you, and obviously your wife or your partner also, or your girlfriend, or any of your good group of female friends. They will be so close to you, and then like it kind of shifts the dynamics. Or when somebody just really trusts you, this could be on in seconds also. She didn't say anything because she felt different on the inside, so you always have to kind of smell it with women, you know. And sometimes with really good friends also, you kind of just have to smell it because they don't want to say it per se. Um, Divine words was like he was like visiting her. I just kind of wrote that down. Um, that as an act of creation, which is like, it probably has something to do with like planting the seed that she talked about, and then the seed, the tree kind of took over. So it's like her dad or something like that. I might have missed the exact information there, but somebody died and they buried him. It was most likely him and her dad actually. Then uh yeah, they planted like a small seed on top, and then he kind of went to check, or like there was something going on, and then he wasn't there anymore. So like the tree grew and he became the tree basically. And then there were fruits on the tree, and then a bird ate it. That's what she was kind of explaining around it. um so it could even be like women also will do this, or really good friends, for example, they will tell you a similar story. It never happened, but they explain like an analogy, or like they would even like, say something that's a future example. They fast forward into the future, like they'll tell a story that never happened, but something that could happen in the relationship or in the friendship. So yeah, that as an act of creation. So like, the tree in a way was an creation, and then to add to that, what I said, like there were fruits on the tree, and then the birds ate the fruits also. It's like the her father who died, or the person that died, became the tree, and then he became the fruits, or he was part of the fruit basically. Could be both. And then the bird ate the fruits, so like the bird also became. So like there's a latter part a little bit further here that also cuts into that. So let's see, we'll just go over this. I'm gonna mark this actually while we talk. So it's okay, we have time, as he almost gets run over. Oh yeah, there was also something after he walked away. So let's mark this. Um, yeah, he was like saying, oh, it's okay, we have time. And then he almost gets run over by a car himself, or like a garbage truck, something like that, yeah. He wasn't really paying attention while crossing the road, and he almost gets run over, which is like, yeah, you need to be awareful of that too, you know. Um, so I broke my leg the other day. I was also like, oh yeah, let's just do it fast. Or like I had something like, oh yeah, I was kind of similar. Where like, oh, we have time, or like, oh yeah, we just quickly do this and then we do that, or like, it's whatever. I can do it all myself basically. Like all those types of patterns is kind of the same. Um, as he almost gets run over, and that would like cut in for myself, for example. But like I just broke my leg. So like yeah, I didn't almost get run over. I didn't almost break my leg. I actually broke my leg. So like if he got hit by the car and didn't die, but broke his leg, or like, had something going on that he had to revalidate a little bit too, it was also like we have time. Well, then you all of a sudden have less. Um, Let me see. Oh yeah, he was very logical with it also. Like I wrote this down without him saying it, whatever. But like work is work, and failure is failure. It's like the last part is like failure is failure is also like he never really draw a win out of a failure. He was just like, oh yeah, a failure is a failure. That's kind of, you get a lot of stuff done then, but it's also like you kind of miss the moment. Um, Yet again, you get a lot done then, but it's also downplaying your winner effect. But then there's also a few select people, 5%, 1%, that also by saying failure is failure, they only do better. But that's also very select people. I went into that a lot also. In some ways, kind of like lower motivation, but like then, yeah, you put you up so high that like it can only bring you up more. Like it can't put you low. But like, why do I say it's low motivation? Because like I say, for 95% of people, it just doesn't work. and I believe that by myself too, because like I sometimes project that to other people, and then I always go like, well, they don't have the same sense of self, the same how do you say, delusional self confidence, basically. Um, and so that's through practice also. Where like I once was working somewhere where I would fill in for the head chef, and I was the head chef myself around this area. And then there was a sous chef that worked there longer than me actually. Yet I did the fill in, and we could always joke around. I had the same humor, but he didn't have like the full self confidence. He was like doubting himself a little bit, even though he could do such great things. This could be linked to anything and everything. Even though I had a good gist of what it was, but it was never really fully fixable. Um, yeah, there could be multiple reasons for that. One of them, obviously, that he didn't invest in himself too much, or like he just saw me as a friend. And then people are also more protective and want to live more in their safety energy, if you will, because they don't want to lose the status that they have, because they feel like they can't really win more status, but they can only go down from the low level where they are. So they can only lose. They can obviously go up a little bit, they believe in, but not all the way. Like they don't believe in that yet. There's not quite a road there for them in their head. He can kind of create that, but there's also multiple markers that they have to go through themselves. You can't force that all the time. And they might choose, in this case, it kind of was, and I held it there also because I was just working. I was not trying to flip somebody over completely. It can have like multiple sides too, especially when somebody is not fully invested. Let's cut back to the movie though. Let me see. Not rational, can't fix everything. Uh, yeah, he was not being rational, like I said before. He can't fix everything. That was what one of the women was trying to say. So he's constantly in this fixing mode, like trying to fix, 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 fix. Yet why not enjoy the moment a little bit more? He could have spent more time with his wife, which was most likely gonna die anyway. It's actually quite an open movie where like I could see a second part coming out around it also. Uh, I haven't seen it. I did Google quickly, was there a sequel? I could see a really good sequel coming from this. They always remake kind of bullshit movies again. So like I don't know, Peter Pan and whatnot, like all the movies that don't need it. And then this one, so far as I looked and researched, which was like 2 seconds, it doesn't have a sequel yet. So who knows? It's really an open end. If you look at like the Matrix, all the movies, first movie looked very complete, but was also partially open. But this movie, I find, is like open, 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 open. Even though she died and whatnot, it could still have like there's more reasoning um, behind it and more story behind it. Even though that story kind of ended. I'm not saying like in the next movie they need to be like, oh, she didn't die, but like in the same way, the same patterns could have like a totally different story again. I feel like for sure. In the Fast and Furious movies, for example, you see this also where like the movies kind of ended and they died, but then they bring on like a movie with the same patterns but totally different. Where it's like, bam, Tokyo Drift, and that brought a totally new atmosphere. This movie is obviously not like Tokyo Drift, but really cool in a way also, where you can use the same patterns for the new moving and then go even deeper into those patterns. What else? He kept saying, "I'm sorry." I believe it was him, not her. I'm sorry. I mean, look at what that does to like the man to woman stuff. Yeah, keep saying you're sorry. Well, don't tell, show it. Like spend more time with her, for example, while you still can. Obviously, he was trying to fix a solution, a medicine, so that's slightly different, but like still in between, like in between developing. Um, there could be so much different things. Then again, if I'm in that position, I don't know what I would do. You could always say something, you could always figure something out. You could always say like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, gonna do that," have a plan beforehand. Yeah, sure. But once a house is on fire, what are you gonna do? Like, some people don't even call the fireman or like the grab the fire extinguisher, or they don't even have one. I have one sitting right here behind me. Actually, it's not hanging, but it's at least sitting. So yeah, that's one of those things too. And I have a uh, it doesn't beep, but the fire announcer basically. I forgot the name there. Um, Yeah, she kept breaking his frame towards fun or like finishing the book. I didn't write that down. I should actually, but um, so towards fun. She wanted to play in the snow. I thought there would be more around that actually. I didn't see much of that in the movie. It was like a movie that was like 2 hours long. Um, I thought I would see a little bit more around that, but no. So she wanted to have fun, play in the snow, and then he was like also cutting it off, trying to be serious, this and that. Um, yeah, it is what it is. And then furthermore, oh yeah, wanting to finish the book. And then at the last bit, he was like, "Oh, I finally finished it." But in a way, I never saw him write the book. Maybe she wanted that. She can't have anything. Like he couldn't have anything either. But yeah. Um, this is kind of a fill in. Oh yeah. So before we said that as an act of creation, this is that is the road to all, to everything. I mean, yes and no. Uh, Obviously, you want to have lived your life before that as much as possible. I remember this during lockdown. Much people were like, "Oh yeah, I wanted to go to Ukraine and visit this, and I wanted to explore there." But like, it's kind of selfish to say that, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is like, live your life before something like that happened. Like, you should have visited Ukraine before something happened. You should have lived your life before you died or are dying. Um, because it's in many ways selfish um around like the lockdown thing, for example, because like there's many people that lost their lives and are still losing their lives. So like that's one thing with like the lockdown. And then um yeah, how would you say it in the other way, like with death, for example, you already spent so much time, so in a way it's also selfish because like people died before you, um and are gonna die, yeah, they're gonna die sooner than you basically. So like that's also selfish to say, like, you know, let me call this back. I don't need to, but now I actually got no, so I can. Otherwise, I will keep talking and just I'll come to this back to this Netsuite. That is a road to all, to everything. That is a road to everything. I mean, yeah, you should have lived your life before that also, like I say. Like that is that could be an excuse to like not live your life as well, in my opinion, yeah. And in a way, if you look at the guy, Creo, like the doctor, he also had many excuses to not live his life, um, to the full extent at least. Like obviously he was like pioneering, doing the doctor, experimenting, being a doctor itself, being really hard on his goals, being precise with like, oh, I just want this type of outcome. That also like he was also kind of shooting himself in the foot with that around his relationship and whatnot, um, or just being really serious and being um, at work a lot, working basically. Okay, next one. Even when she dies, she's always gonna be there. Yeah, that's also what Owen Cook talks a lot about. So yeah, even though Kobe Bryant isn't in the room, he's still there. Even though you died, he's still gonna be there to some extent. Yeah, like obviously live your life to the max so like people will remind you more and more, yet it's also like yeah, you still like you don't even exist, you're a lump of cells to some extent, you're still in the room. That's almost like um with the I don't fully understand that yet in some parts, yet like with transcending, then you're still in the room. That's kind of like what I'm reading in between the rules, with Owen's content and takes on it, for example. um Let's see this again. So even when she dies, she's always gonna be here. Gonna be there is basically. Even when she dies, she's always gonna be there. So in many ways you could say like what happened with the tree kinda, yeah? It's like even though it evolves, even when it doesn't evolve, that person's still gonna be there. Um for some people that is only death. For us that is only life. I don't know if it was actually in the movie or I just wrote that down. Let's see. For some people that's only death. For us that's only life. That's a really good analogy to live by. Even though you put other people down a little bit in that, at the same time, it's yeah, just having that. Even if you would say like For us, that's only life. Like that's really that's working towards your death in a good manner, yeah. Where like if you also take action on the right things and actually live your life, like out it, write it down, do it, record it to get the ROI, do whatever, yeah. Next one. So all that he saw was that. To some extent, yes. He was obviously, like I say, pioneering a lot. At the same time, uh, all that he saw, not per se all, like if you can save lives by pioneering, that's all amazing too, yeah. At the same time, he did see a little bit more that in a way that he didn't spend enough time with his wife. That you could definitely say that. Yeah, it is what it is. I could judge myself in the same way and come out with the same outcomes or like even more. And then I looked like the bad guy. So thank God it's just a movie. Thank God it is a movie. Let's just say that it's not just a movie. Millions went around with that also to just create it. So like I could just like knock it down in a shorter video, filmed on my laptop. Even though I'm not knocking it down, I'm doing both sides of the story, like up and down. It's just my critical thinking. And then even then, I could say like it's my critical thinking. It's not just like this is also I built this for years since 2017, and before that also, but like more conscious since 2017. So that's also 9 years in the making. Um, Next one, all these years, all these memories. Sorry, all these memories you put slash took me through time. So like that's also like kind of the blessing. So like all these years, all these memories, like obviously you can never really take that away. People can slightly forget it or fully, but most of the times they won't fully forget this, of course. Um, you put me through times, like they still live together. You can't really take that away, yeah. You took me through time. There was a bit more around that, but that's why I always like watching certain movies back, for example. Then you can see it from a different angle. And my purpose was actually to watch this with a few girls, few girlfriends. But then it was also like, yeah, it would be cool to go to the movie myself with notes and then do it after with somebody else. I did this also with the movie from Lady Gaga, where she sings, for example, and like the whole movie. And then just, I knew the songs because I just liked the song. What's it called again? Yeah, whatever. So like, and then it's also with the guy, and they play guitar and they play piano, whatnot. A Star Is Born. That's the movie's name, and then the actual song, A Star Is Born. The song name I'll bounce out of my mind a little bit later. Um, Leave Me Alone Because I'm Scared. So that was also something he was saying. And then at the end, she was also like, I wasn't scared. I don't know with the leave me alone. That was probably what he said. Leave me alone because I'm scared. Oh yeah, that was what he said. So leave me alone because I'm scared. Well, that's also something that happens sometimes with clients. Not per se always clients or people that want to become clients, but they don't know their exact spot, their positioning for themselves. They just don't. They haven't done. Most likely, they haven't done a lot of audits. That's what I notice here and there. Um, or like people that just aren't into any content around self-help, for example, or they just don't want to improve. Like your friends are like taking drugs or like whatever. If you say to them, "Oh yeah, drugs kind of bad for this and this reason," they also go like, "Ah, just leave me alone." Why? Because they're scared. Like their position is going to be outwavered left to right, or like, they kind of cling on to that vibe of like, yo, smoke weed, it's cool, this and that. And then also, there's so many other factors too, yeah. But like, let's say you have like a biker, it's like, look how cool I am. And then they say like, yeah, but it's not cool. Um, you know, you're just like you're just killing more oxygen with your bike. And then they go like, just leave me alone. Like, let's say that was an incident. I never had that, but like, I'm just making something up. I actually find this really, really cool. Anything with engines or whatever is just like my thing. Max Verstappen, Ayrton Senna, which is a famous F1 driver. I made a video about him in Italy. That's my number one idol, by the way, Ayrton Senna. look him up. So anyway, also a Gate documentary about him, by the way. So just to give like a reference, but like, oh yeah, that's also cool, but you can also break that, and then they're like kind of scared because like you kind of put them out of position, and they don't. Most people don't really like that. So leave me alone because I'm scared. Yeah, because you don't really know what's going on to some extent, and or you just don't want to find out. That's with a lot of people also. Yeah, they like their comfort zone a lot. Um, I'm not afraid anymore. Live forever. We're gonna live forever, something like that. Then I wrote something down. Oh, together. We're gonna live together. Oh yeah. I'm not afraid anymore. We're gonna live together. We will live together. So finish it. That's what she is saying to him as she is dying. That is the answer to honor. That is the answer to honor. Eerbied is the Dutch word. Okay, next one. So that is the answer to honor. Yes and no. I'm not gonna go any deeper on that, but there's definitely something to research myself. So okay, so we will become immortal. Our blood feeds the earth, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier with the transcending and whatnot. So mm, that is the road to everything. That is the road to anything. That is the answer to honor. Um, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Oh yeah. Sorry. We will become immortal. Our blood feeds the earth. That's what I kind of meant actually. We will become immortal. Our blood feeds the earth. That's kind of like with planting the seed or whatnot. Um, so we're like, how would you say, we feed other people and we kind of transcend into different energies. But like, okay, if you really inspire somebody, now that person is living via you. Like they live in their own energy, but they also have taken a little bit of yourself. So like you kind of bleed into them, then they take it on, and now it's like pure excellence. They are living in their higher self, or like at least they climbed a little bit higher. And you hope they stay there, obviously. Um, Pros. I can't even read this. Oh, perseverance. So, oh yeah, he was a guy who was really persevering. I, I'm gonna pronounce that so wrong, by the way. Anyway, next one. So he just kept going, 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 going. So like problem solving and just kept going. So like, look how many good parts there are of that guy also. And then in the movie, it's kind of like he should do more, 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 more. Yet he's already doing so much, but like he's kind of missing the most important parts. Yeah. Um, then kind of funny parts where like he gets to the tree of life. He's constantly waiting for some kind of a right moment to, go up in the sky, kill something, the star behind the clouds, something like that. Um, it's kind of funny, like the way it was filmed. I kind of laughed about, even though it had a very deep meaning. But then he's like drinking cum from a tree, basically. It was like the fake flowers. I kind of started with one fake flower that he spilled a little bit of the cum, uh, as I just jokingly called that. It was actually really pretty scene. I don't know, it just looks like all of a sudden they were like, oh yeah, we ran out of a budget. Just you know, just buy a few fake flowers from like the dollar store or whatever. Um, yeah, that was kind of funny to me. Like the movie's that serious, that beautiful, and then they went with that. It's like it kind of makes it funny too. Yeah, like you have to admire it for what it is also. So yeah, he's like spilling cum from the tree on the floor, and then immediately there's like a tree, or sorry, a little plant growing from it, and then he tries to heal it. His wound basically that he got stabbed with. This is something I didn't tell before, but you should definitely watch the movie before for that, for those reasons, I should say. So yeah, he's then all of a sudden drinking all the cum from the tree, and then he just becomes like a full uh, plant garden basically. Also, next also. He's constantly working on a solution, and the solution fucked. Yeah, this is one of my own audits around this. So like he's constantly working on a solution and the solution fucked him. He fucked himself by that mindset and attitude, yet isn't in his blind spot. Let me see the last. He fucked himself by that mindset and attitude. Oh yeah, yet it is in his blind spot. Yeah, so like he didn't properly see that um he was fucking himself basically. Like that was in his blind spot. And so he's constantly working on a solution and the solution fucked him. Because like okay, in many movies kind of like that where like they do have that solution, so like they constantly work on solution, and then, like the potion, oh yeah, and then the potion eventually there's less and less of it left as it gets destroyed in a fight or whatever, and then the last injectile thing of the poison, the bad guy has it, but then like somebody shoots him, it goes in the air, it breaks, but then I don't know, the guy that really needs it he fights with somebody else and he miraculously rolls through the potion and now he's healed. Like just something stupid like that. Yeah, that's how most movies kind of go. Or like you have even in Kill Bill stuff like that, but like they go like, I have the potion, and then like they do something, and then it's like, now the good guy still has the potion, even though it looked like 99% he was never gonna get it. And then they flip the script basically. Yeah. So that's most movies. And this movie was just like he was working on that potion, but that fucked him. Like that could have been the solution. In his mind, he probably had the same mindset for like 99%. It was going to be the solution. It just turned out not to be. So like when do you know the most times the right answer? Yeah, after it happened most of the times. And even then you don't fully know. Yet afterwards, you most likely, like for 80%, you know the right answer. Like recalibrate, and then you look like, oh, what's the right answer? And even then, you can be wrong, like I said, for 20%. Let me see. He gave her unasked wish with planting the seed for the tree and thereby finishing it. That's something I wrote down also. And that was like a yeah, really beautiful ending actually. Yeah, this is like a quite complete story. So it has like this fiction side where like he's in a different paradigm or like a different yeah world if you will. And that's like one timeline, and then there's also reality where he's a doctor. So he's like a warrior in one, something else in another, and they kind of wouldn't say clash, but like they kind of go linear, and then they kind of experience the same thing. One is science fictional and the other one isn't. And they both kind of have the same answer. So yeah, it's quite a beautiful movie. I definitely get why it got recommended, and it's really beautiful to watch. Also, I'm gonna rewatch this also. Um, quite sure by myself also, um, and then also with partners. Yeah, why not? I can see the value in it. Also, A Star Is Born is also kind of a cool movie. Where like yeah, there's also factors in there. It's like most of these movies are kind of the fill in, and it's just like about entertaining, bit of an emotion. There's always like multiple, how do you say, multiple, I'm trying to say levels, but that's not it, but like multiple purpose behind it. So multiple messages is the best way to say it. So the message, yeah, even for The Star Is Born, I could kind of say that too, but I don't know if I would. Am I gonna ruin like 50% of movies for you guys here, yeah? Guys and girls. So, yeah, even in A Star Is Born, actually, I'm gonna do it. It's like, okay, the guy eventually kills himself also. Like, so he sees how great this woman is. This woman does have a lot of confidence in her ability. Yes, she's like up here, yeah. She's even better than the guy, if not the same. But yeah, let's just say she's better because that's how the movie projected. And then like, they go to adversity, the guy is just constantly the women has to recalibrate it. In a way, it's perfect, um, because like she the women are always trying to fix something that like fixes, and then like he's um he's definitely like cocaine and this and whatever. I don't know whatever he does. It's a really beautiful movie, and then yeah, he's kind of the bad boy that has been successful in. He's kind of like the rock star, basically. The rock star. How do you call this? Archetype. The rock star archetype. So yeah, that's one of those things. And then eventually, he just like kills himself. That's like a meaning around that also. It's like, oh yeah, he got like misunderstood with something. I know that for sure. And I'm gonna make a video on this also, and it's also gonna be linked to Forrest Gump. For like that's the total opposite of a movie. Yet it has a lot of the same patterns. So like, but then the same patterns, but also different outcome and different actions. So like if you look at Forrest Gump, he's like running after this woman, and to some extent, the guy in A Star Is Born also. Yet they both do it from different perspective. So that's going to be a really interesting video also. Um, yeah, that's about it. Go watch The Fountain also. Uh, I liked it a lot. It's actually quite a short movie to watch through. It's still 2 hours, but for some reason I just pass time so fast. It's a beautiful created movie. Um, yeah, not like an action movie, like I don't know, Kill Bill or whatever. Yeah, but I also like watching this like spiritual movies also a little bit more, or like when they have a deep meaning behind it. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. What is like my biggest takeaway? Maybe we can do something about that. Just on the time, or I would say, like what is the movie's name even? Like The Fountain. Okay, cool. Yeah, respect time a bit more and the way you spend it, even with family or like, your friends also could be done quite fast, yeah. Even for yourself, you could be your last moment at Earth. So yeah, be mindful of that.